When you believe, you'll find the way through darkest nights to brighter days. With faith as your guide and love as your song, you'll rise above.
Ever get the feeling that there's got to be more to wealth than like just stacks of cash?
Right. It's not just about the digits in your account.
Exactly. And that's what really hooked me about this book, The New Wealth Blueprint. It's like a guide to building a life that's rich in every sense, not just, the financial part.
Yeah, and it really gets you thinking differently about money, not as the end goal, but as a tool.
A tool. I love that. Like a hammer to build the life you want.
Exactly. And one of the most fascinating things is the book doesn't start with investment strategies or anything like that. It starts with the psychology of wealth.
Oh, interesting. So like how our minds can sabotage our money goals without us even realizing it.
Exactly. Dr. Hell, the author, she argues that our beliefs about money, especially the subconscious ones, are like a blueprint for our financial reality.
Okay, so if you're walking around thinking money is the root of all evil,
Yeah.
you're probably not going to attract a winning lottery ticket anytime soon, right?
Probably not. Those limiting beliefs, we often inherit them, from our families or culture, and then become these little wealth saboteurs.
Little gremlins.
Yeah.
I've definitely battled my fair share of those, like, I'll never be financially secure, that kind of thing.
Right. And those thoughts, they can really hold us back. So how do we evict those negative whispers? That's what I love about the book. It dives into this whole idea of shifting from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. It's not about ignoring your finances or anything, but more like reframing how you view opportunities.
Celeste, I can't afford that. And more. How can I make that happen?
Yeah. And she shares this really powerful story about a single mom who, faced job loss, but instead of panicking, she used that as a springboard to start her own business.
Wow. Talk about turning setbacks into launch pads.
Right. It's about resourcefulness, and that ties back to investing in yourself.
Okay, I'm all about self-improvement, but how does that translate to, like, dollars and cents?
Well, think of it this way. The more you invest in your own growth, your skills, knowledge, well-being, the more valuable you become. And that often leads to greater earning potential.
It's about recognizing your own potential as an asset.
Yes. But even with the right mindset, you need a solid financial plan. And that's where cash flow management comes in.
Cash flow, that's making sure more money is coming in than going out, right?
Exactly. It's about being in control of your money, not the other way around. And the book breaks down this simple but really effective rule, the 50-30-20 budgeting rule.
50-30-20. Okay, break that down for me.
Sure. So 50% of your income goes towards essentials. Rent, groceries, bills, the gotta haves.
Right. Makes sense.
Then 30% is for your wants, things that bring you joy, like travel, hobbies, going out with friends, whatever that looks like for you.
Got it. So needs, wants, and what about that last 20%?
That's for savings and investments. Your future self will thank you.
A balanced financial diet. I like it. But life isn't always, neat and tidy budgets, right?
Yeah.
What about those curveballs life throws our way?
And that's where this whole idea of risk management comes in. It's like having a backup plan,
Okay, so are we talking like an emergency fund? Or is this something different?
That's part of it. But Dr. Howe really emphasizes insurance as a key part of this.
Insurance.
Right.
Not exactly the most, thrilling financial topic.
True. It's not as exciting as, say, picking stocks. But it's about protecting what you've worked hard for. Your wealth, your family, everything.
Okay, so walk me through it. What kind of insurance are we talking about here?
So she breaks it down into a few key areas. Life insurance, disability insurance, health insurance, and then property insurance.
Okay, so life insurance, that's basically to make sure your family's taken care of if, something happens to you. Right?
Exactly. It provides that financial safety net for your loved ones if the unexpected happens.
Okay, that makes sense. And what about disability insurance? I feel like people don't always think about that one.
You're right. It often gets overlooked. But think about it. If you couldn't work because of an injury or an illness even, disability insurance is there to replace a portion of your income.
So you're not left high and dry if you can't work.
Exactly. And then, of course, health insurance. I think most people understand how important that is, especially these days.
Yeah, those medical bills can be scary.
No kidding. And then there's property insurance. That's all about protecting your physical assets, like your home, your car, that kind of thing.
So it's like creating this whole financial safety net for all the what ifs in life.
Exactly. Because life happens, right? But even with all of this in place, managing everything can feel overwhelming sometimes. So the book talks a lot about how technology can really simplify things.
Okay, tell me more about this because I love anything that makes my financial life easier.
Well, think about automating your finances, like setting up automatic bill pay.
Oh, that's a lifesaver. I don't know what I'd do without that.
Right, and automatic savings contributions. That's huge.
So you're not relying on willpower alone to hit your savings goals.
Exactly. You can even automate your investments now, too.
Okay, so it's like having a personal finance assistant working for you 24/7. I love that. Are there any specific tools that she recommends for this, like apps or anything?
Yeah, she talks about budgeting apps like Mint or YNA, which I think we might have touched on earlier.
Right. Those are great for tracking your spending and making sure you're staying on budget.
And if you're interested in dipping your toes into investing, there are apps for that too. She mentions a few, like Robinhood or Acorns, which lets you invest your spare change.
No way. Investing without even thinking about it. That's my kind of strategy. But speaking of investing, can we talk about compound interest for a second? Because I always hear about how important it is, but I feel like I still don't fully understand it.
Sure, it can be a little tricky to grasp at first, but basically it's like earning interest on your interest, so your money starts working harder for you over time.
Okay, so give me an example. Like, how does this work in the real world?
So let's say you invest $1,000 and you're earning a 7% annual return. After the first year, you'll have earned $70 in interest. So now you have $1,070.
Right.
But here's where the magic happens. In year 2, you're earning 7% interest on that $1,070, not just your original investment.
Oh, I see. So it's like a snowball effect.
Exactly. The longer you invest, the more powerful that compounding becomes.
Okay, that makes so much more sense now.
Yeah.
It really is like a financial superpower.
It is, and it's why starting early is so important. But even if you're not ready to retire just yet, the book talks about this idea of like a phased retirement.
Phased retirement, so like easing into it gradually instead of just boom, stopping work cold turkey.
Exactly. Like maybe you reduce your hours, or you transition into part-time work, or maybe you even start a side hustle that you're really passionate about.
I love that, finding that sweet spot between work and like enjoying life more. Okay, but before we get ahead of ourselves, let's talk about those side hustles for a minute.
Sure. It's funny you mention that because the book dives into this too. It talks about how, especially in today's economy, having multiple income streams is becoming more and more important.
It seems like everyone I know has a side hustle these days. What's the appeal, you think?
Well, I think a big part of it is that desire for more financial security, not having all your eggs in one basket. Plus, I think people are looking for more flexibility and freedom in their work.
Yeah, that makes sense. So say I want to try out a side hustle, like dip my toes in the water. Where do I even begin?
Well, she talks about starting with your passions. What are you naturally good at? What do you enjoy doing in your free time?
So turn your hobbies into a hustle, basically.
Exactly. Like maybe you love photography. You could start by offering portrait sessions on the weekends or selling your photos online.
Okay, that makes it feel a lot less intimidating. What about passive income, though?
She doesn't shy away from that either. And she's very clear that it's not about getting something for nothing,
Right, there's no such thing as a free lunch.
Exactly. But the idea is that once you've put in the work up front, passive income streams can generate income with minimal effort on your part.
Okay, so it's like planting a money tree that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
But what are we talking about here? Like, what are some examples of passive income?
So she talks about a few different things. Investing in dividend-paying stocks, for example. Or if you own property, renting it out for passive income. Creating and selling digital products like online courses or ebooks. That's another popular one.
So many options. I feel like the possibilities are endless.
They really are. And the book even touches on something I found really interesting. International diversification.
Okay, wait. Back up. International diversification. What is that?
So we've been talking about diversifying your income, right? But this is about diversifying your investments across different countries and different markets.
Oh, I see. So like not putting all your eggs in one basket, but spreading them out across the globe.
Exactly. It can help reduce your risk because if one market is down, another might be up. Plus, it gives you a chance to tap into the growth potential of different economies around the world.
Okay, I have to admit, that sounds a little intimidating. Like, how do you even begin to navigate the global market?
Well, the book suggests starting with international mutual funds or exchange-traded funds.
Okay, and those are Sorry, I'm still learning all the investing lingo.
No worries. Basically, they're like baskets of international stocks or bonds that you can invest in. So it's a more simplified way to get exposure to the global market without having to become an expert on every single country's economy.
Got it. So it's like a crash course in global investing.
Exactly. And then, of course, if you're more experienced and you have a higher risk tolerance, the book also talks about things like investing directly in foreign stock markets or even exploring overseas real estate.
Owning a little villa in Tuscany. Sign me up.
It does sound appealing, right? But she does emphasize that those types of investments come with their own set of challenges and complexities, so they're not for everyone.
Right. It's always good to do your research and understand what you're getting into.
Oh.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. Mindset shifts, budgeting, investing, side hustles, even going global. It really feels like this book covers it all.
It's a very comprehensive look at what it means to build a life of wealth and abundance, both financially and in other areas of your life, too.
Absolutely. And one thing we haven't even touched on yet are these financial checkups that Dr. Howe recommends.
Oh, yes. Those are so important.
Okay, so tell me more. What are we talking about here? Like, should I be scheduling an appointment with my finances every 6 months?
It's not quite as frequent as going to the doctor. Dr. Howe, she recommends a two-pronged approach. So monthly checkups, and then you do a deeper dive once a year.
Okay, so monthly. What does that look like? Am I, like, analyzing every single expense?
You know, it's actually a lot simpler than you might think. It's really more about just staying on top of things. So reviewing your bank statements, tracking your spending, making sure there aren't any weird errors on your credit card bills.
Gotcha. So it's like a quick pulse check, make sure everything's running smoothly.
Exactly. And then annually, that's where you take a step back and look at the bigger picture.
Okay, so what am I looking at during my annual financial checkup?
So this is a good time to review your net worth, see how your investments are performing, make sure your insurance coverage still aligns with your needs and goals. It's also a good time to revisit your budget, see if maybe your income has increased, if you need to adjust anything.
So it's like a performance review, but for your money.
Exactly. And it's also the time to think about your goals. Have your priorities shifted at all? Maybe you need to adjust your savings plan or your investment strategy.
Right, because life's not static. Things change, and our financial plans need to be able to adapt.
Exactly. You've got to be flexible, And Dr. Howe, she really emphasizes that. Your financial plan should work for you, not the other way around.
I love that. Okay, so we've covered so much ground today. Mindset shifts, budgeting, investing, side hustles, going global. It feels like the New Wealth Blueprint really does cover it all.
It does. It's a really fantastic resource, for anyone who's feeling like maybe a little lost or overwhelmed when it comes to their finances.
Absolutely. And she makes it so approachable. Like, she doesn't use a lot of jargon,
Right. It's very conversational, like she's speaking directly to you.
Yes. Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, what are your final words of wisdom for our listeners?
I think the biggest takeaway is that financial freedom, it's not about deprivation, It's about making choices that align with your values.
So you can live a life that you don't need a vacation from. This has been such an insightful conversation. Thank you for taking us on this deep dive. And for everyone listening, we highly recommend checking out the New Wealth Blueprint for yourselves. Until next time, happy wealth building.
In the depths of doubt where shadows fall, a flicker of hope, a whispered call. Through trials we face and storms we break, in our hearts a flame of courage to save. When you believe, you'll find a way through darkest nights to brighter days, with faith as your guide and love as your song, you'll rise above. In times of loss, when tears may flow, a seed of strength begins to grow. Through every stumble and every fall, within you lies the power to stand tall. When you believe, you'll find the way through darkest nights to brighter days, with faith as your guide and love as your song, you'll your spirit soar. In the face of fear, you find an open door. With each step you take toward the unknown, know that you're never truly alone. In the depths of doubt, shadows fall. Flicker of hope, a whispered call. Trials we face and storms we brave. In our hearts a flame of courage to save. We believe we'll find a way through darkest nights to brighter days. With faith and eyes, courage to stand tall. In our hearts a flame of courage to save. You shelter down the storm. You rise above, find where you belong. So hold on tight and never let go. For within your lies there's strength to grow. When you believe in yourself, you'll see power of hope that set you free. You find an open door. We speak self-contained toward the unknown. Know that you're never truly alone. In our hearts to stay, with courage to save. Keep shelter down the storm. You rise above, not where you belong. So hold on tight. So hold on tight. And never let go. For within lies the strength to grow. When you believe in yourself, you'll see the power of hope set you free.